How about some pork chops? And I'm using the rib end pork chops. If you notice, there's a lot of fat in there instead of the leaner opposite end. Because sometimes you need all that flavor of that fat. Okay, so it's not as healthy. And then we have like a salsa gonna make with it. Apple, mango, banana, raisins, currants, almonds. Gonna saute that separate. Saute the pork chops. Put a little, haven't made up my mind if I'm gonna put some flour on them or not. I don't think so. And it'll be 1 pork chop per person with this, and then I'm gonna eat this with some rice. And that's it. So I'm gonna cut all of the fruit up. I'm gonna saute the fruit, the onions and the garlic separate, cook the pork chops. So it's really a 1, 2, 3 item. You need 2 pans, one for this and one for that. First you're gonna cook up the salsa. So I have olive oil and butter. You can use all butter, you can use olive oil only, whatever you want. And we're going to put in these julienne of onions. I forgot to mention I'm putting brown sugar in there. And the mango, sliced like so. The bananas, not a real ripe banana, so it's a little firmer. But it's still an edible banana, not like when they're really green. And the apple, I used Macintosh because to me they taste more like applesauce. And I didn't want to use Fuji, even though they're delicious to eat, but they're a little tart. Or the Gala. So that's the only, and I don't like eating Macintosh, but I think the flavor will work out better in there. And I'm guessing that this will take longer to cook than the pork. And the pork you don't have to cook well done anymore, you know that. Just so it's cooked. And we have to put a little salt on that. Everything needs salt. So I'm just going to throw 1 teaspoon on there. And I'll hold up with the rest of the ingredients for that until it starts to cook up a little. So this is on a moderate flame, and we are going to help this along a little bit, because we're not looking to saute with color. We're going to put a lid on it. So I'm just going to leave the salsa. I'm going to finish this first completely, because then you have to just warm it up and put it over the pork chops. And it's a moderate flame, maybe a little lower because we're covering it now. And this will kind of steam it, make everything soft in there. And that could take, let me see what time it is. It's 10 minutes to 4. So I'm figuring at 10 after 4, I'm gonna come look at that. Well, 20 minutes is up, and let's see what this is doing. That's good, everything is mashable. Now we're going to put everything else. The currants, the raisins, brown sugar. And this got to be a little piquant, so I'm going to use sriracha hot sauce. You put in the amount that you like. And the dijon. Rinse the dijon with the white wine. This looks like it's going to be a nice topping for the pork chops, but it looks like it's enough for like 4 easy, but that's okay. Now we get the pork on the fire. Let that simmer, turn the fire on for the pork. And these are a nice thick cut too. So oh, I can see somebody's been using my salt and pepper mix. Anyway, put a little salt on that side, and we're going to put it on the other side. Look how thick those. And it was only like, you know, pork is inexpensive. $7 for 3 of those. Pound for pound, cheaper than beef, and I think healthier for you. So a little more salt on this, because that salsa is going to have a lot of flavor. And we're going to throw in there all of this fresh rosemary. Just let that cook up, get that flavor. Don't worry about the stems because you're not going to eat them. Well, this is an item that, since they're so thick, you don't need a high flame like that. Like so. Leave them there. If you use a thermometer to judge, then that's okay. If you use your fingers, or like 20 minutes into it, after you turn them over, you cut into one. If it's slightly pink, it's okay to eat. But if you want to cook it till it looks white, that's your preference. Meanwhile, the salsa, oh, that's looking good. I like that. That is a nice looking item. Got nice color. I'm going to finish it off with some scallions, a favorite of mine. Now I'm going to taste this, because the flavor is not going to change much from this point. And this will completely cover the pork. Work out very nicely. I put enough sriracha hot sauce in there. That's good. This is done. This is done, and this is good. Very nice. Just the right amount of Dijon, which I slightly taste, and everything else in there. Great. So what we do, we're going to put this on off. Why? Because when my wife comes home in about maybe an hour, turn it back on just to heat it up, I'll almost finish the pork chops. We'll make a presentation, see how it looks anyway. So we'll leave this on warm. Now, no sense in wasting time just watching this. You can hear the pork is cooking. So it's just going to take time. I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes and then come back. Well, it's been about 10 minutes. You hear that nice crackling sound? And the flavor of the rosemary has permeated through the house. Like I said, those are thick. Well, you know when they're done, it's more difficult on this cut because there's a lot of fat there, so it's going to bounce a lot. But this has to be firm. So I'm going to lower this even more. Seems low, doesn't it? Even more so. Beautiful color. And with that, you know what? I keep on calling this salsa. But as I'm looking at it, it reminds me of, how about chutney? Wouldn't that be a better word for it? And I put in the almonds. That's optional. You can put anything you want in there. But it looks pretty, and that's what's really important. I'm going to throw some scallions in there later, just before it goes on top of the pork. And I made a little, which is not in the recipe, made some wild rice, just plain wild rice to go with this. And since my other recipe which I made, the patties, this will be the appetizer for her. And I can't have any because I already ate the other 6. Anyway, we'll get this done. I'll be back to view this 20 minutes from now. So you're keeping a track of the timing, right? Well, it's been 20 minutes. And we're not done. We don't have any color on the bottom because I lowered the flame and now it's like almost boiling it. So I raised it up again and we'll let that liquid evaporate and then we'll get some color. And this is done. So I'm going to shut it off. My wife comes home. We'll put it on again. Meanwhile, we'll get a little demo. That chutney smells good. So we will put that, put one of these on a plate. Just to get a feel of how the chutney is going to sit. Like I said, that's enough for easy 4 people, maybe even 6. We'll say 4. Put nice spoons of that on there. Put a little scallions on top. And there you go. And it smells good too. Enjoy.